What is up, traders? Hope everybody's doing well. Continuing the bias lecture series. New day and new price action. We're going to be going over top-down analysis, trying to figure out how you guys would have found your setup on this day and how you would have moved. And I'm going to show you a mistake that I actually did today, right? So let's get to it. First of all, starting off on the daily chart. Obviously, coming into the session, we had this daily fair value gap. That's what you can see on the daily chart. We had swept previous buy side liquidity right here. We were in this inefficiency, which we are still respecting, and we do have all-time highs. So nothing too clear on the daily chart. We're clearly in a bullish trend. We may see some sort of retracement into these inefficiencies, or we could see a continuation in price, but most likely I would have wanted to see a retracement into this inefficiency, at least this, right? So that's what we get on the daily chart. Now we drop down to the 4-hour chart to get a better understanding. We're clearly in a bullish trend. You can see that right here, making higher highs, higher lows. 6 a.m. candle right here, which is right before the 10 a.m. one. Let me get rid of this. And there, okay. So this 4-hour candle, this is 6 a.m. Okay, we have this sell side, which still wasn't swept, right? We're going to see that when we drop down lower, but this still wasn't swept. The 4-hour was still around here. We had this, all this sell side. You had this 4-hour inefficiency. This is a daily fair value gap starts, right? This is where the daily fair value gap starts. I think I have that marked out. Yeah, so this is a daily fair value gap is. So marked with this double lows on the 4-hour time frame. You have this 4-hour inefficiency and this 4-hour order block. So on the 4-hour chart, it's kind of, we have multiple indications that we want to drop lower. So that's what we get to see on the 4-hour time frame. Now we drop down to the 1 hour, see what we get on the lower time frames, right? All right, so 1 hour time frame. As we can see here, this was the 9 o'clock candle. Still, we had SMTs. We can see that on this hourly chart. If we pull up ES, go to the 1 hour chart, we can see how we had SMTs right here. ES made a higher high, whilst NQ made a lower high. So that's right there, just giving us even more confirmation that, we're looking to sell short here on the session to at least take out these inefficiencies, this sell side right here, and tap into this daily inefficiency that's marked out right here, and then possibly drop down to this sell side that I marked out on the higher time frames, which we had 4-hour order block to target right around here. So we did have multiple targets, but the first one was this daily fair value gap right here with these sell sides. So on the hourly chart, it's clear to us that we're most likely going to drop down to sweep out these lows, right? Going down to the 15 minute now, we can see here how 9:30 opened right here, and price before even 9:30 reacted off this SMT and just dumped and swept this low. Okay, so 15-minute, especially after this candle closure under this structure, it's an indication that you would have, or price is just going to drop down now, or market structure has shifted. We've completely inversed this 15-minute fair value gap right here. So it's clear that we want to drop down. Now, if you go to the 1 minute chart, you really wouldn't have gotten an entry because price just dumped. Obviously, if we're going off of the macro trading that we're used to, right? Whereas the macro, I had that marked in the beginning of the video, 9:45. That happened right here, right? So the daily fair value gap was tapped into right at that 9:45. Now, what do you do at this point? So you have all their other targets, right? If you go to the 15-minute, this is a 15-minute fair value gap marked out, right? So this right here, see this 15-minute inefficiency, you have these double lows right here. So you have multiple targets. You have these double lows right here, which is the beginning of this daily inefficiency. You have these double lows right here. You have this 15-minute inefficiency. You also have this double low right here, boom, boom. So you have multiple pool of liquidity, right? This is the first one, second one with this inefficiency, third one, and then you have this, and then you have on the higher time frame that 1 hour order block that I marked out, or the 4 hour order block. So you still have more targets lower, but the first one was met before our macro was even hit, right? So what do you do now? You wait. So you see this during the macro, we swept this daily fair value gap low, this daily fair value gap with that inefficiency. We have still sell side here with that 50-minute efficiency right here, right? Cool. 9:45, 10:15, which is this macro right here. This is our first AM macro right here, right? Could you have entered here? Of course, but I would have avoided it because we're so deep in discount that price has taken a target that we have. So price could pump up from here, but in this trading session, I still want to see price lower, but I still wouldn't have taken this short because we're so deep in discount that taking this short is just a lower probability, even though if you see on the 5-minute chart, we were still in a bearish structure, but obviously you can see here how we just start to slow down once we got to these levels. But again, you don't have to take a trade even if you think something's going to happen. This I would prefer when I was trading this session today. I wanted to see this sell side swept and this 50-minute fair value gap tapped into, and then take out longs or take longs to target some trendline liquidity that was made, right? But that doesn't mean that has to happen, and it doesn't mean that I have to trade this, right? Because we're so deep in discount, this risk to reward really wouldn't make any sense for me. Like if I, after this sell side, I mean, we would have wanted to enter off of a fair value gap or anything, like we wouldn't have not even got that entry in a way. If you wanted to enter off this February 16th new week opening gap low, right, cool. Stop loss has to be above the high or above this. Like the risk to reward wouldn't have made sense for me. So that's why I didn't even bother taking this trade, and neither should you. So what happened is we waited, you waited, and then you would have waited for the second AM macro, which is, and this is where I made my mistake, by the way, today, 10:45, 11:15. Cool. What do we see here? That inefficiency that I wanted was tapped into right here, that 15-minute efficiency, right, that I talked about right here. It was tapped into. This is a 1-minute chart, so let me go to the 15-minute chart. So right here, right, so that was tapped into right here before the macro. Cool. Now the macro hits. I want to look to enter longs. Why? Two of my main targets were hit. This daily fair value gap, we're in a daily busy right now. Buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. This is from here and lower. This is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency that we're in right now. And we just tapped into 15 minutes buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Took out more sell side, right? We're slowing in momentum. We have buy side liquidity now resting above this trend line kind of structure, right? You have multiple equal highs. We have all this right here. You have the 9:30 opening price here, no new day opening gap right above this buy side, a fair value gap on the 1 minute right above this buy side. So this is a really, really nice target to take longs during the macro. Cool. We look, sell side sweep. I'm looking for an invalidation of bearish order flow for me to take a long, right? If you look at ES, at this time you had SMTs. Where? Right here. At this point, right here. Beautiful SMT. If you look, right here, NQ made a higher, or sorry, it was right here. NQ made a lower low. Let me mark that out. This right here. NQ made a lower low, while ES made a higher low. So SMT during or right before the macro, cool. And then we have a bias that is bullish now, cool. We're in that 15-minute fair value gap, cool. I'm looking to enter longs now. What do I see? I have this 1-minute inefficiency that was previously respected right here, right? The macro just hit. I want to see this disrespected. As soon as it's disrespected, I'll enter longs. Beautiful. My mistake was here. Now, I wanted to target this high, right? My mistake was this was a break-even trade. The reason that happened was, as we can see here, price pushed up, didn't sweep any buy side, right? It's only swept this, and then retraced. My stop loss was at break even at this point, stopped me out at break even, consolidated a little bit, and then later in the day, it swept, okay, right before the market closed. So my mistake here was what? My mistake was, if we take off this position right here, let me take it off. At this time, if you look at ES, right here, ES made this SMT. What am I looking at? Look at the highs. ES right here, look at the time. What time is this? 10:13. Let me get that right. 10:13. Look at ES, 10:13. Look at NQ. Look at that high, 10:13. ES swept that. NQ didn't. NQ was still right here. This is the high that I just marked out, right? NQ didn't sweep it. So this is an SMT right here. So since this occurred, because of the things that I taught you guys with the SMT lectures, you should at least, if this is not, it was not my full TP. My full TP, my entry was here, and my full TP was right here, which is above this high, and it was at the new day opening gap. It was at this inefficiency right here. That is what I was trying to target, right? Since you have SMTs here, okay, I don't want to take profit right here, but at least take partials. That's what I've taught, and that's what I should have done, which I didn't do. And because of that mistake, this resulted in a break even instead of a partial win. I would have taken some of my position, maybe 30% off. I would have made some money. But instead, because I didn't take partials when I saw that SMT, and I was greedy and I wanted to hit that full TP, and I was confident that that's gonna be hit. It was gonna be met, right? Because all these confluence, I was confident it was gonna be met. But guess what? Price was very fickle. It was very hard to trade, and it did hit it, but later in the day. So that's a lesson to myself and to you guys. Let's put that in the journal. Entry was perfect, but the management during the trade was false, and that was my mistake today. Was I saw this SMT, I should have taken something off. Right now, at least I did move my stop loss to break even when I saw this, which is good, right? But still, I should have at least taken some of my position off, and then left the rest to run, and I would have made some money off of this trade, right? Instead of just a break even. So that's the lesson today, right? You have all this top-down analysis, beautiful entry. You have a 15-minute inefficiency, sell side swept, SMT on the lower time frame during the macro. Bread and butter setup. You have this inefficiency, which was inverse during the macro, entries off of it, and then target some buy side, which since price action was not the best today, it was not the easiest to trade, especially right here. I should have taken partials, and when I saw that SMT, I should have taken something off. And if we look, I'm gonna take off this position. What do you guys see here? What is this? As of this recording, it is Wednesday, the 19th of February. This is the February 16th new week opening gap. So this is this week's new week opening gap, okay? What do you see here? I'm going to zoom in, right? This would have been another sign for me to at least consider cashing something out. Look at this. Look at the candles. I want to look at the candles in this region. We were wicking above, coming back and closing below it, respecting it. Look at these candles. We wicked up over it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Candles were not wanting to close above it. It was respecting it. It was this, and then in terms of the candle closes, nothing closed above it. In 1, 2, 3, 4 taps. So that would have been another sign to consider maybe cashing something out. You see how when you follow the rules and when you actually follow these it's clear, right? But since I was greedy and since I wanted to just hit full TP without taking partials, I lost all the profits, didn't gain anything, and it was a break-even trade, right? So that's going to be it for today. Top-down analysis. I will be doing more of these to kind of get this, kind of teach you guys slowly how to go from daily time frame, 4 hour high to lower time frame, just top down, kind of get that, kind of, if you say muscle memory or whatever. It's just later when you're alone, you can do it very easily. You find no difficulty in it, because in my opinion, one of the most important things in trading is determining bias, right? So teaching you guys how I'm approaching the markets and how I came up with this setup. Like, why did I take longs instead of shorts here, right? Why did I wait for this specific time? Why did I use this specific PD array over the other, right? Why did I enter here specifically? Time by time, it will become easier, right? I hope by now it's getting more clear, right? How we're connecting all the PD arrays that I've taught, and using them at once. Now, not all the PD arrays are going to be used every single day, but the ones that I taught, at least you're going to be using a couple to enter, exit off. Like today, we used the inverse fair value gap, SMT, time of day, that's going to be every single day, but inverse fair value gap, that's one. SMT, that's two. We used the SMT twice, actually. And the February 16th new week opening gap, should have used it to exit, so that's three, right? Inverse, SMT twice, and then the new week opening gap that I taught. And as a target, I had the new day opening gap with a fair value gap aligned, which was hit later on, right? It was hit. And that's where price just stopped there. It didn't really push any higher. So you see how things are starting to align now, and things hopefully are getting easier, right? So that's going to be it for this session. If you need to watch it again, feel free to do so. If you have any questions, shoot them. And until next time, stay safe and happy trading.